there are a few things that I'm going to there are a few things that okay, right. If supposedly you should be looking at my presentation. Oh my goodness, where is it? Yeah. Eh, yeah, I know. I'm presenting. Yes. My goodness. Okay, now it should be here. Okay, now you should be looking at my presentation, and then this is I'm going to elaborate on our it's actually PRL, reading personal logs, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Okay. For your reading, one of the assessment for ELC151, it is your PRL. It is for your reading, personal reading log. Okay, personal reading log. So throughout the semesters, we have two two personal reading logs, 2 weeks that you are going to be requested to do this test. The first one is in week 6 and second one in week 9. Okay, it's actually uh, the whole idea of PRL is actually for the students, to encourage the students to read more, and it is called as extensive reading project because we are going to ask students to read a lot of things, regardless of the genre, regardless of the topic. Yeah, the difference between intensive and extensive reading is that intensive, we have one area of things, and we are going to polish on the students to read more about that particular area. For example, intensive reading, if you were to learn a new language, then you are going to read anything based that related to that language. For example, if you were to learn Japanese, you have to read anything in Japanese. And then if you were to focus on writing at the formal, in the at the level of formal setting. So if we were to do intensive reading, we are going to read a lot of articles, a lot of texts regarding formal settings. Yeah, but somehow for this purpose, we are going to look at extensive. We are going to focus on extensive reading, meaning that we are going to have a lot of articles, a lot of text coming from different sources, and they have different topics. Yeah, perhaps we have, for example, later on, I'm going for the last week. I gave you an article entitled the pencil, and you should have gone through that. Yeah, at this point you should have read that. But then later on, perhaps I'm going to give you something different genre. For example, ghost stories, or we could have documentary, things like that. So there are many different genre, many themes that we are going to look at for this project. Yeah, ERP. ERP is the whole project, and the assessment is called as PRL. Okay, ERP, extensive reading practice, is the name of the project, and then the assessment is going to be PRL. It says here that you are going to read 3 selective short stories, but I think it's better for the students to read more. So this is my aim, and I hope to fulfill that. I really hope, but let's see. One week I'm going to give you one short story. So every week you are going to read, the students are going to read at least one short story. And in week 6, the students are, is either the students are going to choose one particular story, and I'm going to give you question based on that story. You are going to elaborate, for example, on the characters, or I will choose based on the given short stories before this. Perhaps in week 6 we already have like five short stories. I'm going to choose one particular short story, for example, a pencil, based on short stories, the pencil. Talk about the characters that in that exists in the short story. That is an example. So I haven't decided on that one. Okay, now obviously, behind every project there are some objectives that the person or the founder, the creators wish to achieve, and these are the objectives that we wish to achieve. Foster the first one, we would like to encourage reading among the students, and we would like to instill the value of love for reading among the students. And number two, obviously, we want to build reading fluency and increase the students' vocabulary. Third one, to promote motivation, enjoyment, and confidence among the students whenever they read new things. Okay. And then fourth one, to make students more effective language users. Obviously, if you read a lot, then you could gain, you will gain, eventually you will gain more vocabularies, as well as the language usage would be more effective. Last but not least is to reduce the anxiety about language learning. Yeah, whenever we in language, and you will feel more using English in the classroom setup or outside the classroom setup. Okay, now the short stories will be comprises of many genres and topic, like I mentioned earlier, and it will be recommended by the lecturers. All right, so I have received the list of short stories from APB Shahalam, and I think that you have gone through some of the short stories during the previous semester. And then this is the second time for you, if that's so, if that's true, this is the second time for you guys to read the short stories all over again. So by this time, I really hope, and I'm pretty sure that you could grasp the content of the short story better. So you know what happened in the short story should be better as compared to before, because you have done this before this. All right, you have done this at least one time before this. Okay, now you will be asked to respond to a given task for each entry. So meaning that we are going to have two entries, in the first one in week 6 and the second one in week 9. Okay, now, eh, okay, and I'll use reading log. So we don't have any reading log. We are not doing that. Okay. Okay, this is the kind of questions um, that will be asked in the assessment, or will be asked in the test. You are going to We are not doing the reading log, but somehow in the reading test you are going to be asked to speculate, and then I will ask questions, and then you will answer. You have to express your opinion. For example, what is your opinion on the event? Was it a good uh, has somebody expressed this, like, did somebody behave well, or what did you think about the behavior of this person and that person? Okay, and then it is hope for you guys to build knowledge, and then you are able to grow as a strategic readers and independent learners. Okay, I have mentioned this is the weight as well the weightage duration. So basically, for each assessment, we are going to have you will be given 1 hour to complete only one question. Yeah, I will ask one question, and then perhaps there is no anak-anak for that particular question. Okay, and then you will be given 1 hour, and then the weightage is 10%, meaning that for personal reading law, the total weightage is 20, because we have two assessment for this particular task. Yeah, and then the written response of two selected. No, not sure. I haven't decided whether two or at least or one. Okay, no changes except that it will be carried out online. So you have done this before. I bet that you are quite familiar with how is it's going to be. All right. Okay. Now this is one example of this is examples of questions that they will ask in the assessment. For example, identify the characters and their characteristic. In the pencil, so we have how many characters in that? So you have to figure out how many characters, and if the question were to ask include all characters, then you have to do so. So number two, another example is to identify the setting that has taken place in the short stories. And then number three, okay, what do you think of Sarah in the first place? Sarah is in the short story Kelly, entitled Kelly. So perhaps in the test, I'm going to take one particular character, for example, Zahid. What do you think of Zahid in the first place? Whether you think that he's a good person or a bad person, or he's just a naughty boy, and then so you have to elaborate on that. Last but not least, it's also possible for me to ask, how do you feel after reading the short story? Okay, so you have to give me your own feeling. Okay, how do you feel? How did you feel after reading the whole story? And then why? So you have to provide your own justification. Okay, this is for your personal reading log 1 and 2. Okay, so I have asked you guys to read the pencil last time. So perhaps after this, if we were to have some time, we are going to talk about the pencil. Do you have any questions for students? Do you have any questions for PRL? Anything that you do not understand? You could jot down your question in the chat room, or you want to ask, or you want to unmute your mic. Okay, if you have any questions, put it here. Sekejap ya, I nak ambil this call. Wait. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, one of the questions is that should we do it in Word, write the answer, or scan the paper? Obviously, at this point, I think that you have to use Word. Yeah, you have to use Word later on when it is in week 6, when we arrive over there, like at that time. I'm going to assign you guys Google Doc, the task by using Google Doc, and then it's just a one-time submission. I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with Google Doc. I will give out the questions over there. Okay, and once you click a button, then the timing is going to start. You have 1 hour, and then do it in the Google Doc, and then submit the task afterward. So meaning that you only have like 1 hour in order to complete the task. Okay, but I'm going to do that by using Google Doc. Okay, next. Do you have any other questions regarding TRL? So the main idea is that I'm going to give you at least one short story for every week, starting from last week. So this week we are going to have another short story up until week 6, meaning that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By week 6, we are going to have 5 short stories. And then later on, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to choose one of the short stories. I'm going to give you the liberty to choose any of the short stories. I haven't decided on that. Okay. And then yes, during that time, as usual, is a test. So on that moment, uh, at that time, I'm going to give you a question. Then you have within 1 hour, you have to answer that. Okay. I hope everybody is clear on that one. Okay, next one. The next one, we are done with our PRL. So we are going to look at the second part of the lecture, and we are looking at the transition. Okay, this is for your reading skill. For your reading skill in week 3, we are going to look at, you have to be able to identify reference. We are going to look at reference word after this, transition words, and cohesive devices. Actually, both of them, reference and transitions, they are very easy, but then they help a lot for you guys for your reading as well as writing. You could also use this for your writing. Whenever you write, please use this in order to make your piece of writing better, flows better. Okay. Okay. Now, right. So, okay. I have some riddles over here. For example, the first one: I have no wings, however, I can fly. What am I? Okay. You could try to guess what is the answer. But let's look at the word in bold. Okay. If you would, we have 2 sentences over there. I have no wings, and second one, I can fly. But however, the two sentences, the first sentence is we have an idea, and the second one conflict the first one, conflicted the first one. And we use the word however over here, however, because we want to say that the second sentence conflicted the first one. So look at the second one. I have legs, but I cannot run. Okay, what am I? You could answer. I don't mind about the answers over here. I just want to focus on the words in bowl. And number 3 is although I have teeth, I cannot bite. So number 1, I have a face but no eyes. Okay. Last but not least, I can cry but I have no eyes. What am I? So these are actually, they are 2 different ideas. And the first one, they put an idea, and the second one tries to complete the first one. So these are the words that we could use in order to put to show that the different ideas as compared to the first one. And they are the similarities between all the words. They are actually transitional signals. Yeah, they are actually transitional signals. What does it mean by a transitional signal? Okay, they are actually a word. They could be a word, like for example over here, however, but, although, yeah, or they could be a phrase, for example, even though. Yeah, even though is a phrase that is used to show how one idea is connected or linked to another idea. So transitional words or transitional markers, they are used in order to show how one idea is connected or is linked to another idea. For example, over here, we have one idea, I have no wings. The second idea is I can fly. What is the relationship between the two? The relationship is the second one completed the first one. That is a relationship. Okay. Many authors or many writers use transitional markers in order to help the readers progress and understand the text from one significant idea to the next. So this is the purpose why we use transitional markers. We try to help the authors is trying to help the audience or the readers in order to understand the text better, or to understand one idea as well as the next idea. Try to connect from one idea to the idea in the next sentence. And uh, we could say that the idea may be stated within the same sentence. So a different idea may be stated in the same sentence or in different sentences. For example, over here, we have two sentences, two ideas, and two different sentences. However, over here for the second sentence as well as the third sentence, we have two ideas, but that they only have one sentence. Okay, so it could be within one sentence, or they could be within different sentences. Okay, there are so many types of transitional signals. I bet that you are well versed with the transitional signals that we have to show continuation, to show direction, change of directions, or conflict, like I mentioned earlier, or illustration, sequence, result, and last but not least, it is to show a conclusion. This is what does it mean by a continuation. We use this kind of transitional markers, these examples, in order to show that we have another idea, to add on another idea. For example, one way of reducing air pollution is to use public transportation. This is one idea on how to reduce air pollution. However, you have another idea as well, and you would like to add on to this idea. Besides that, you can also walk to nearby places. So you could replace besides that with other transitional signal. Or you could say that furthermore, you could also walk to nearby places. Or besides that, okay, try to use all these in order while you are writing in order to make it better, make it sounds better. And if you want to change of direction, you want to say something and then suddenly you want to say something else. You say something and suddenly you say something else to introduce a contrasting idea, a different one. All right. For example, I am kind, however, I am short-tempered person. All right. So the first one is kind, second one is short-tempered person, conflicting ideas. So we use change of direction. These are the transition signals that you could use, but however, in contrast. And these are the phrases that you could use. On the other hand, although, even though. Example, Although people are aware of global warming, they do not take any active measures to reduce it. So this one, people are aware of global warming. The second idea that completes it, although they are aware, they do not take any active measures to reduce it. Okay, this is how you show a conflicting idea or contrasting idea. Number three is illustration or description. Okay, to give an idea by giving specific examples. For instance, such as, and like these are the common ones. You could use this. They are so useful in order to illustrate, in order for you to help you to illustrate something. I can play few musical instruments. So this person says that he could play a few musical instruments. So what are those musical instruments? For example, the flute, the guitar, and the piano. Okay. All right. Last, it's not last. The next one is sequence. You want to show a sequence or numbering. Which ones come first? Which one comes later? Or you want to show the order in the event in which events happen. So we have this kind of transitional signals. First of all, second, third, the next one, then after that, finally, right? So it is useful for your reading as well in order to identify which one are the ideas, which one is the first idea, which one is the second idea. So if you were to find these all transitional signals or markers, then you know it's going to help you in identify your topic sentence. Yeah. If the question asks you what is the second main idea, second main idea of this essay or second topic sentence of this essay, then you could actually look for these sentences, the second one, secondly, or second, or the next one. So there you go, you have the second idea. For example, over here, one example is there are many ways to conserve energy. Sorry. First, so this is the first idea. You should switch off the lights when you leave the room. Second, okay, you should whatever. You should set the temperature to 20 around 24 degrees Celsius. Okay, the first idea, second idea, third idea, and whatnot. Okay, the next one we are going to look at on how to describe or how to look for the results. Okay, in order to show that something is a result of something, we use these transitional signals or transitional markers. So, therefore, as a result, or you could say consequently, hence, and thus. Okay, for example, of sentence, the drains in the housing area are clogged. As a result, flash floods occur every time it rains heavily. As a result of this, the first sentence, okay, the second one happened. So it is, we immediately know flash floods occur because the drains are clogged. Because of this, the drains are clogged, this happened. Okay, there are flash floods. Last but not least, in order to show or in order to indicate that particular sentence is a conclusion of your whole paragraph or conclusion of your whole essay. Yeah, the function is to conclude. These are the transitional signals with some markers that you could use in conclusion, in short, in brief. So for example, in short, students need to use English in their daily conversation in order to become a competent English language speaker. Or you could say, in conclusion, students need to use English. Or you could say, in brief, students need to use blah, 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 and blah. So, okay, all right. Try. We are going to look at the difference between paragraph with transitions and at the paragraph without using a transition. So what what are the difference, or what is the difference between the two. So can we have, sorry, uh, Imran, are you here? Imran.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Imran, we are going to read this. You read the first one, read out aloud the first one. Could you do that?
Uh, on the left.
Come again. The left one, without the transitions.
Okay, miss.
Okay.
One of my favorite hobbies is traveling. I decided to get a job that paid me to travel because I just couldn't afford my habit. I work for a company called Off Road where I led bicycle trips. It was really hard job. I got to spend 2 months living and working in France wine country. I went to the south and stood on the red carpet where they hold the Cannes Film Festival. Riding bikes all summer was great, and traveling around France was incredible. The job was too much work and not enough pay, even though it fit it fit my traveling addiction. I knew that job wasn't for me.
Good, excellent. Okay, now that one, this text is without transition. So let's look at the second one and try. We are going to read this out aloud and try to notice the difference between the two. Okay, one of my favorite hobbies is traveling. Therefore, I decided to get a job that paid me to travel because I just couldn't afford my habit. I worked for a company called Off-Road where I led bicycle trips. It was a really hard job. I got to spend 2 months living and working in France wine country. In addition, I went to the south and stood on the red carpet where they hold the Cannes film festivals. Riding bikes all summer was great, and traveling around France was incredible. However, the job was too much work and not enough pay. However, even though it fed my traveling addiction, I knew that job wasn't for me. Okay, now the first one is quite, the flow is less, and the flow is not that smooth because some idea, for example, the first one of my favorite hobbies is traveling. So I decided, let's hear me. I said so I decided to get the job. It's better for us to put in a transitional marker because the second one happened due to the first one. So we have to put some transitional marker over that. Okay, therefore, I decided to get a job that paid me to travel. The second one happened because of the first one. Thus, we put some thus. I use that as well. Okay, because of this, you put this. Okay, in order to make it smoother, sounds better. Okay. Uh, okay, now let's look at this. The second part. I worked for a company called Off Road where I led bicycle trips. It was really a hard job. I got to spend 2 months living and working in France wine country. In addition, so it uh, talk about how this job really able to fed, is actually fed, yeah, the traveling addiction of this writer. The first one, he was able to spend 2 months living and working in France wine country. That is the first one. So this person likes to travel. Obviously, he enjoyed living and working over there. A second one, the second part that he loves about the job is that he was able to went to the south and stood on the red carpet. So this is another experience that he would like to include in order to describe how the job fed his traveling addiction. Okay. And then conflicting idea, the next part, riding bikes all summer was great. So this is a positive idea. And traveling around France was incredible. So this is another positive idea. And then this author or this writer would like to introduce a conflicting idea, a contrasting idea. However, he used that the signal. The job was too much work and not enough pay. Okay. So the first two, they are positive, and the next one is negative. Thus, he used however over there. But last but not least, however, even though it fed my traveling addiction, I knew the job wasn't for me. Okay, the first one is positive idea, positive statement that it fed my traveling addiction. The second one is negative. That hence we use the conflicting idea signal over there. However, okay, now they are like they are like bridges between paragraphs. So you want to introduce the first paragraph, be it a positive or negative one. For example, is the positive one. And the second one, you want to say that is a negative effect. Yeah, the first one is positive effect. The second one is negative effect. Then you use transition. However, even though things like that, on the other hand, the signals like that. Okay. Last but not least is we look at and how to use transitional markers in order to summarize, and in order to summarize a paragraph, or in order to summarize an essay. These are the sorry. Oh, this is a summary of the whole thing. Yeah, this is a summary of the whole thing. Continuation, change of direction. Is illustration, and then we have also have the transitional signals over here. You could look at them later on. I will give you the slides. Yeah, I will include the slides in Padlet. So these are the examples on how you could use the transitional signals for this purpose. And this is how you could use the examples on how you could use the transitional signals in order to introduce a conflicting idea. Number 3 is this. And then here, the next one is, okay, the next one is sequence. Okay, soft toys should be washed first, washed frequently to avoid permanent soiling. First, so in sequence order, we want to show the first event happened, the second event happened, the third event happened, or the first reason, the second reason, or the third reason. So we use these transitional signals. Yeah. First, wash the toys with the mild detergent. After that, rinse them thoroughly. Then, wrap them in a towel to soak up excess water. Remember not to squeeze them, or they may go out of shape. Finally, the last one we use finally, or lastly, hang them on the clothesline. In order to show results, we could use these transitional markers. And conclusion, this is the conclusion. These are the transitional markers in order to conclude a paragraph, or to conclude an essay. Okay, now work with partner. You don't have to work with a partner. Just try to work on your own. Read the passage and fill in the blank with any transition signals in the box. Each transition signal can be used only once. Okay, now, Irfan as well as Imran, we have this. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. Try to put in, match the transition signals to a blank, that whenever it is suitable. Okay, try to do this. I'm going to give you some time.
Okay, Miss.
DD. You done?
Not yet.
Right. Okay, now I think we should uh you everyone should have completed this. Now, Irfan, I'm going to ask you to read the first one. Read the first paragraph and then give me the answer as well. Okay, Irfan, the first paragraph.
Didi is very health conscious that takes good care of her health by keeping him fit. However, she try to get some exercise every day. In the past, she will go to the park to jog for half an hour after work. Besides that, she does not jog at the park anymore. Instead, she goes to a health club to exercise. She goes there after work every day. She enjoys working out at the health club because of the various exercise equipment that she can make use of, such as the treadmill, the cycling bike, and the rowing machine.
Okay, now All right. The first answer you gave, Irfan, the first answer is
However,
however. The second one,
beside that,
besides that. Okay. Besides that. Okay. Now, let's see whether they are correct or not. Didi is very health conscious. She takes good care of her health by keeping fit. Okay, that is a positive. She tries to get some exercise every day. Okay, now she tries to get some exercise every day is the effect of, but she tries to keep her health by keeping fit. So meaning that, however, is not suitable to be there because however is a conflicting idea to show that something is conflicting the idea before that. The answer should be hence or therefore because this because Didi tries to get some exercise every day due to the fact that she wants to keep her health or her body fit. So the answer could be therefore or hence only. Yeah. Or you could say as a result. As a result is not very suitable. So hence or therefore. In the past, she would go to the park to jog for half an hour after work. Okay. And then she said, usually she goes to the park. She would go to the park in order to exercise. But then she does not jog at the park anymore. So this is a negative idea. The first one is positive and then negative idea. So you have to have a conflicting transitional signal over there as well. So the answer could be however. The answer is however only. Right? Only however. There is no other options. Okay. Instead, she does not go to the park anymore. She goes to health club to exercise, a health club to exercise. She goes there after work every day. She enjoys working out at the health club because of various exercise equipment that she can make use of, such as the cycling bicycles, and the rowing machine. Okay, now Imran, the second paragraph. Read out loud and give me the answer.
The first one is mm, other than that, Didi is also extremely careful about her diet. She rarely eats deep fried food or food that has large amounts of sugar. She avoids cakes and rich food and only eat them on special occasion.
Okay.
Um, Beside that,
Hey, I thought you just used besides that
eh,
just now. Oh, other than that, is it?
other than that,
The first one.
yes. Uh,
Hello, hello.
the second one is besides that.
It's
Can
okay. All right. Imran, it's okay. I could not hear you clearly. Yeah. Okay, the first one is besides that.
no. The first one, other than that.
Okay, you are breaking up. It's okay now. All right.
Uh, is it my internet?
Uh, I'm not sure, Imran. I could not hear you clearly. It's okay. Can I? Okay, now, let's go to the chat. Okay, can you hear me clearly? If you could, just type number 2, everyone. Can you listen to me clearly? Number 2, if you could. Ke internet aku ni. How's your internet? Okay, number 2. Okay, you could listen to me well. Okay, now, must be one of us. The internet a bit from one of us. Okay. I'm just going to give you the answer for that one. For this one. Okay, number two. The answer for number second paragraph, the first one should be besides that. Besides that, or other than that, is an interchangeably. So you could use is either besides that or other than that. Okay, Didi is also extremely careful about her diet. She rarely eats deep fried food or food that has large amounts of sugar. She avoids cake and rich food and only eats them on special occasion. So you want to add the second idea to the first idea. So you could have other than that or besides that. So for this one, sorry, for this blank, you could use is either besides that or other than that. Second one is besides that or other than that as well. She will make sure she eats a lot of fruits and vegetable because the first one she avoids cakes and rich food. The second idea is that she eats a lot of fruits and vegetable. Another positive idea. It is no wonder that Didi looks so slim and fit. Okay, the third one, the third blank space in the second paragraph is as a result or therefore. As a result or therefore, she receives lots of compliments about her youthful looks. Didi never smokes cigarettes. She believes that smoking is not only bad for health, but also affects the environment. So this one, it could be therefore or as a result. Therefore is better, I think. So as a result, is over here. Whenever she sees any of her friends smoking, she always advises them to stop. Yeah. So you use hence in order to say that this happened because of this. Okay, she exercises every day because she wants to keep her body fit or her health good, well. Okay. And then we use conflicting ideas. Usually she go to she went to the park to jog for half an hour, but then she did not do that anymore. She does not do that anymore. So over here should be however. The answer is however over here. Okay. You should be able to differentiate between the usage of different transitional markers. And then after, if you were to get those things right, it's going to help your essay in your essay very well by make sure the flow is smooth. Okay, blah 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 blah. But it's okay. Okay, now, uh, I think that is all for the from transitional markers. Any questions? If you have any questions, please put in the chat box. Any questions or everyone understood everything? Okay, if you understand everything, just put no questions. Understood. Very good. Imran. How about you, Irfan? Okay, very good. Okay. Uh Next one. The next one, we are going to look at our reference. Reference. Okay. The next section is reference word. Okay, between what is the difference between transitional and reference? So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to differentiate between the two. Okay, before that, let's read this together and then try to figure out what is wrong with the sentence. Some people believe that a university education should be available to everyone, as a university education will help with employment. Okay, if you are good with language, English language, then you will notice something is wrong over here. It's not that it's a big wrong, but you could do something in order to better the sentence. The answer is reference word. Okay, instead of using over here, the answer is some people believe that a university education, this is the topic, should be available as to everyone as a university education. You repeat university, we repeat the university education, this word twice. So in order to make it sounds better, actually, we could replace this phrase to something else. Yeah, to something else, and the answer is actually it. Some people believe that a university education should be available to everyone as it will help with employment. The answer is that because we are covering reference word at this point. So the answer is it. It will help with employment. We don't like in English language, they don't like to repeat the same word over and over and over and over again. For example, Ali is a good boy. Ali is Ali helps to Ali is a kind boy. Is a kind boy. Ali helps his friends with their homeworks. Ali helps teachers with schoolworks or with things. All right. So we repeat Ali over and over again. In English language, we do not use that. We do not do that. We use reference words in order to replace Ali. So it's going to be he. Ali is a kind boy. He helps around with his friends and teacher at school. Okay. Okay. Now, mm, we have a comic strip over here. Okay, the underlined words are reference. Try to figure out what the reference refer to. Okay, this one. Hey there, what is this? Oh wow. So is this one refers to the shirt? Okay, it's actually to the shirt. That is the sweater your grandmother knitted for me when I was around your age. Try it on. So your grandmother refers to whose grandmother? Is this big person the dad's grandmother or the small kid's grandmother? The answer is the small kid's grandmother. And then when I was your age, referring to whose age? To this person, the small kid's age. When he was at the young boy's age, the grandmother, his mother, knitted the sweater for him. Yeah, she always left a little room to grow. Oh, it seems kind of big. Yeah, she always left a little room to grow. She referring to the grandmother. So we do not say, that's the sweater your grandmother knitted for me when I was your age. Try it on. Yeah, your grandmother always left a little room to grow. We do not repeat the same word over and over again. Okay, we just replace with some reference word. She refer back to the grandmother. Into what an orangutan, the little girl asked. Okay. Okay, now, invention of your own story, no need. Okay, what does it mean by a reference? A reference is a word. It could be a word or a group of words used to replace one words in a to replace other words in a text. It could be mentioned earlier. It could be mentioned later in the sentence, in the same sentence, or in a paragraph. Like I said earlier, we use it in order to avoid repetition of the same word. Okay, now for reference, we have anaphoric reference as well as cataphoric reference. For anaphorics, is refer back. For example, we mentioned the subject first, and then we use a, a reference word referring back to the subject over here. Izura gave birth to her son today. She had a wonderful and smooth delivery. So she refers back to Izura. This is for anaphoric. And another is in another example, Dania. Who is an example of reference word as well. Dania, who is an introvert, scores the highest in tests. Who refers back to Dania, right? We also have category reference. There's another types of reference as well. And refer forward. Yeah. And we use the reference word first, and then the actual subject will be mentioned later in the same sentence or different sentence. For example, when he arrived, at this point we do not know who is this he. Right? When he arrived, John noticed that the door was open. So only after we write the second sentence, he refers to John. Number two, Sonia loves to eat tropical fruits. So Sonia lives to eat tropical fruits. What does it mean by what are the examples of tropical fruits? So these are the examples of tropical fruits like rambutan, durian, and banana. So in English language, you have two types of reference. It's either anaphorics or cataphorics. So you refer back or you refer forward. Okay, look at the examples. Try to read the examples by yourself. All right. For your reading test, sometimes if you are lucky, I'm not sure whether you are lucky or you are unlucky, they are going to ask this type of questions. In paragraph 3, line 2, the word he or the word yes refers to, so you have to be able to identify which subject, the actual subject that the writer is referring to. Then you have to jot down the answer. And if you were to get the answer correctly, then you get the mark. Okay, now these are the examples of reference word. It, they, them, this or that, these or those. Okay, what is the example or what is the difference between this and this? That and this. Imran, what is the difference between this and this?
This and those.
This and this. The first one, this one, THIS, as well as THESE.
Oh, this and the amount.
What do you mean by the amount?
Uh, Many things and
Which one is for one single thing? Which one is for many things?
THIS.
For
Single thing.
and this one is for
Uh, Many things.
what is the difference between THESE, this one, this, and those, THOSE.
Those. Um. This. Those are.
These are, those are.
This.
What is the difference between two?
Uh.
Not sure.
Not sure, miss.
Okay. All right, it's okay. Now, okay, this THIS refers to a subject, an object, which close to you. All right. For example, I have a pen. This is a pen. One thing, this is a pen. Okay, that THAT refers to a thing or an object that is behind you or far away from you. Okay, that. Talking about this one particular mirror, that is a mirror far away. Okay, if we were to use this, like Imran said earlier, these for THESE, many things. So these are pens and they are close to you. These are pens. Many, two pens. These are two pens. But then those are referring to things that are far away from you and many things. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 mirrors. Those are mirrors. I have those are 4 mirrors. Okay, that is the the difference. Okay, now the former, the latter, respectively. Okay, we also could use the former, the latter, and respectively as reference word. For example, the former, Ali and Abu, they are nice boys. The former is older than the latter. If I were to say Ali and Abu, Ali is the former. All right. The letter is Abu. Ali and Abu are nice boys. So the former is Ali. Yang the first one I mentioned, the second one I mentioned is the letter Abu. Respectively, meaning that both of them, they are they are they are 15 and 16 years old respectively. Meaning that Ali is 15, Abu is 16 years old respectively, meaning that if I were to mention Ali first, meaning that the first thing belongs to him, meaning that he is 15 years old. Abu is 16 years old because I mentioned him, the second one. Who wish that one and ones, okay, such one should always behave nicely, okay. One should always behave at least his best at school, meaning that one person, okay, one individual should be. Uh, once meaning many people, right? Uh, how do I use once? I could not think of any example at the moment. Later on, I'm going to give you once I have the idea. Once meaning that we have many people, right? Referring to many people. Okay, now I believe that everybody knows how to use this it, they, and them. Okay, relocating the research facility to Osaka would seem sensible. It it refers back to the idea of relocating the research facility. It would save the company a considerably amount of money each year. Yeah. So we don't want to repeat relocating the facility to Osaka would seem sensible. Relocating the research facility to Osaka would save the company a considerably amount of money each year. We don't want to repeat this sentence so many times. So we replace by it. Okay, Irfan, please read out the second sentence and try to identify. It refers back to.
Bavaria is a attractive region in which to live. It was mountain and lakes and is close to the ski resort in Germany and Austria.
Refers to.
It refers to Bavaria.
Very good, excellent. So we do not want to repeat Bavaria over and over again. We just replace Bavaria by the word it refers back to the place Bavaria. Bavaria is an attractive region in which to live. It has mountains and lakes and is close to the ski resorts in Germany and Austria. Okay. Irfan, number three.
Number three, we have received large number of reports about the economy outlook in Japan. We are studying them carefully. They contain useful marketing information.
Okay. Them in red, what does it refers to?
Reference to a large number of report about economy outlook.
Yes, very good. Excellent. So, them over there refers to the numbers of reports about the economy outlook. Okay, very good. Okay, now these are the example on how to use this, that, do, this, and those. Okay, Imran, the first one. Try to read the first one.
At our recent meeting, you suggested we establish a joint venture in Japan.
Mm,
This seems to be an attractive proposal, and
mm.
I like to discuss it with your father.
Uh, you further. With you further.
Father.
My father. I didn't know. Okay. Now, this refers to
This.
uh, refers to
Uh, uh, venture. Venture.
yes, the answer is the joint venture. A joint venture.
Joint venture.
A joint venture is a collaboration. A joint venture is a collaboration. So this refers back to the joint venture. Okay, just now Imran Irfan. Next one, number 2.
Thank you for sending me some sample of your products. These are being inspected by our engineer, and we expect to make a purchase order in the near future.
This
This reference for sample of your product.
very good, excellent. Pandai ya korang ni. Okay, yes, those are the answers, and then that is the correct answer. Now, next one is the former, the latter, and respectively. Okay, now, last week we experienced production problems at our plants in Leeds and London. At the former, there was a 2-day strike by the workers. At the latter, there was a machine breakdown. Okay, now at the former's, it refers to Imran. What does it refers to? At the former, which one? Leeds or London?
At the former.
Yeah, refers back to which location?
Leeds. Oh, London.
Which one? Leeds or London? I'm not sure.
Uh,
We have 2 locations, Leeds and London. And it says here at the former. So we at the former, at which one? In Leeds or London?
Leeds.
Very good, excellent. In Leeds, yeah. If you were to mention at the former, we have a sentence like this: in Leeds and London at the former, meaning that in Leeds there was a 2-day strike by the workers. And then Imran, so at the latter, meaning that the location is
London.
very good. So at the latter, there was a machine breakdown. At the later refers back to London. Output as a percentage of normal capacity at this factory was 60 and 75 respectively. So we know that 60% refers to the production capacity, the normal capacity at which one? In Leeds or London? Imran.
Normal capacity.
Mm.
Uh,
60% refers to the normal capacity of factory in either Leeds or London. But then which one is it? 60 and 75 respectively, meaning that 60s belong to Leeds or London?
Leeds.
Leeds. And then 75 belongs to?
London.
Very good. So if they were to put something like this factory was 60 and 75 respectively, in that 60% belongs to Leeds, 75% belongs to London. Okay.
London.
And yeah, very good. Excellent. A second example, we will be visited on how do you pronounce that? Tuesday. Okay.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, sorry. We will be visited on Tuesday, 12th March by Mr. Loss and Mr. Ibsen. The former is managing director of our operation in France and Italy. So, Irfan, the former refers to Mr. Loss or Mr. Ibsen? Ibsen.
Mr. Latlos.
Very good. Excellent. So the former meaning that the person that they mentioned earlier. The latter is Mr. Ibsen. The person that they mentioned letter in the sentence. Okay, who is what? This is, I think, this is easy. You could go through this uh, after this on your own after this. Okay, the ones and one, the one and ones. Okay, once is singular, while once is plural. Okay, and then we use that in order to substitute the noun or a noun that has been previously been mentioned earlier. For example, John has got three cars, a red one and blue two ones. Meaning that dia ada tiga kereta, three cars, one red and two blue ones. Or which chair is yours? The big one is mine. That one there. Right? Referring to only one chair. There is one singular chair. And then ones, plural, meaning that we have more than one. Here are some shirts. Which ones? We have a couple of shirts, a number of shirts, and then this person is trying to ask which ones are Michael. The black ones, so meaning that all the black shirts they belong to Michael. And then the brown ones, meaning that there are many brown shirts, and then they are they belong to this person. They are mine, the speaker. Okay, that is the difference between one and ones. Yeah, such refers back to the subject that been mentioned earlier. Profits from selling investments are capital gains. Such gains, all right, capital gains refer back to capital gains. Such gains are taxable at a rate of 40%. In recent months, we have experienced many problems with hardware, such problems. So many problems with hardware. So hardware problems, such problems are not easy to solve, and we have had to ask for technical assistance. Okay, that is the end of our lecture for today. Right. So for this lesson, we have learned about reference word as well as transitional words. You have to be able. This is for your writing as well as your not speaking. Your reading. They are crucial. But then you also use them for other skills as well because you are studying a language. They are all linked together. You could say that this is just for your reading. You cannot say that. We cannot say that. So, next one. I would like to give you the listening one, but then I don't think that we have time. We are going to cover listening during our next class. Okay, now a little bit of recapping. Have you read the pencil? Both of you guys?
Uh, I can find one.
Huh? Pardon?
Yes, miss.
Yes, okay. Now, last time I gave you on our Padlet. On our Padlet, I have given you a short story. And this is The Pencil by Ali Majid. I expect you that you have gone through this, you have read this, and then it is going to be one of our short stories for PRL. So meaning in which says this one might be the one that I choose in order for you to talk about it, in order for you to elaborate on it. Okay, there will be one particular question on a day I will give you on that day, and then I will ask you. For example, this is an example. Okay. What talk about the characters that you could find in the short story of The Pencil by Ali Majid. That could be one of the questions that I ask you for your PRL. So make sure that you read this and try to understand what exactly happened in the pencil. And if possible, try to figure out the characters and then the setting, and then as well as the potential lesson learned for this from these short stories. You understand?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Make sure you read carefully, tau. Do not skip that. You have plenty of time. I have given you like 1 week. And then you are going to have another 3 to 4 weeks before week 6. So make sure that is one of the short stories that I'm going to ask you guys for the PRL. Okay, do you have any questions regarding your personal reading log as well as transitional markers or reference word? Any questions?
No, miss.
You always know. Okay. Okay, now, I don't think that I'm going to give you any activity for this lesson. Um, yeah, as usual, if you have any question, any further question, just hit me up in the WhatsApp group and try to ask in the WhatsApp group because everybody else is going to be benefited by the answer. Yeah. Okay, I guess that is all for today. Thank you for today. All right, see you soon. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you, miss.